My name is Valyanika Fayette, and I'll be talking to you guys today about DBCP in Lathrop, California facility. DBCP is also known as dibromochloropropane and has been produced for agriculture since 1955. In 1975, production of DBCP in the United States reached almost 25 million pounds. However, investigations with laboratory animals, some of which were published in the early 1960s, have shown that DBCP decreases sperm mobility and spermagenesis, disturbs the estrous cycles, reduces phagocytosis by white blood cells, and induces malignant tumors. Here is the table of contents. Today we'll go through introductions, our figures 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we'll enter our wrap up as well as our reference. The purpose of this presentation is to inform you of what took place in the chemical facility in Lathrop, California, among 95 sterile men at a chemical facility named Occidental Chemical Plant. Here is a picture of the chemical plant named Occidental Chemical Facility in 1977. Here is a picture of Occidental Chemical Facility in 1977. Here is a short picture of DBCP news article that spoke briefly about the chemical plant and the 20 workers that filed a lawsuit. How does DBCP work? Originally, DBCP was designed to kill nematodes. Nematodes is a parasite that cause root damage. Tropical crops are extremely susceptible to nematode infection. This makes DBCP an effective pesticide for tropical crops. Here's a continuation of how DBCP works. It hatches from eggs, migrates through the soil, and penetrates the roots. Then the eggs are released in the soil. Females are in the roots. Males are in the soil. J2 develops into 3 stages, and the 4th stage is the juvenile. Migratory secondary stage juvenile hatches from egg and migrates through soil to infect the root. Eggs release in the soil, then the sedentary mature female with egg mass in the root. Here's the health data from inhalation exposure. This table, that is a bar graph, will show you the concentration levels of DBCP. Here's a table about DBCP usage patterns. According to this table, there are extremely high numbers of cotton that have DBCP in them. Also, soybean seems to have a lot of the usage of DBCP in it as well. In this table, you will see the number exposed to DBCP by exposure group and vasectomy status. There's 107 non-vasectomy that were exposed to DBCP. There was 35 that were non-vasectomized that were also not exposed. And there were 38 vasectomized individuals that were exposed to DBCP. Here in this table, we are looking at the sperm count from exposure to DBCP. As you can see, the sperm counts range from less than 40 to greater than 40, and the exposure is shown in months. The months range from 1 to 6 months all the way to 43 months. And then there's a total at the end of the chart that shows you the total exposure of sperm count from DBCP. Here's another visual of the exposure to DBCP. In the orange, you can see the sperm count. In the gray, you can see the sperm count that's less than 40 milligrams. And in the blue, you can see the sperm count that's greater than 40. To conclude this presentation, we'll just end up discussing how DBCP was used as a harmful chemical. DBCP was used in the past as a soil fumigant, which we all know, and a nematicide on crops. Occidental Company was sued by workers of the chemical plants. The workers were awarded $20 million overall, and due to the lack of urgency from the U.S., DBCP continued to be sold outside of the U.S. until later on in the 2000s, and the use was suspended officially in the U.S. in 1977 and in Hawaii in 1985. Chronic long-term exposure to DBCP in humans causes male reproductive effects, which we looked at tables showing us that, such as decreased sperm counts. Testicular effects and decreased sperm counts were observed in animals and were chronically exposed to DBCP by inhalation, which we also looked at some of those tables in our presentation. This concludes the DBCP presentation by Valyanika Fayette.